break down and elaborate more on how exactly forefoot strike running may make you less vulnerable to injury in a more sustainable way than heel strike running, in that when you land with a forefoot strike when running, it actually shapes and improves other aspects of your stride that may lead to more sufficient impact protection as compared with landing heel first when running. In fact, forefoot striking when running and everything that I'm outlining in this video has been supported by volumes of research, which is all linked down below this video in the description box. Landing forefoot first when running naturally and automatically assembles three key mechanical outputs found to be less force intensive and less burdening on the leg. These three mechanical outputs that are more engaged in forefoot strike running than in heel strike running are: forefoot running prevents crossover footsteps, it prevents a long overstride angle, and it increases cadence, which is the number of steps that you take per minute. Collectively, these three mechanical outputs that are, again, more easily engaged in forefoot strike running have been consistently shown to be a strong source of impact protection and may make you less prone to mechanical overloads. So I'm going to talk about how these three mechanical outputs in forefoot strike running may do more to prevent injury as compared with heel strike running. How forefoot running may help prevent crossover footsteps is that landing with a forefoot strike when you run may help widen your stance width at touchdown, which may improve knee and shin angles at touchdown, which in turn may help reduce bending strain, rotational stress, and torsion on the leg. The problem with crossover footsteps when running is that a long line of biomechanical research has reached the common conclusion that running with crossover footsteps is really a mechanical entanglement that demands significant amounts of pelvis and hip stability to compensate for. It may also misalign the shin, knees, and hips, making these areas less vertical at landing, which may increase medial compression, tissue loads, and tension on the leg. It may also cause foot hyperpronation, meaning that during the touchdown and stance phases of running, the foot may shift into extreme overstraining positions that may cause an intensive whipping motion on the Achilles tendon, which in turn may actually increase the risk of an Achilles tendon injury. But when you land closer to the front part of your foot, so your forefoot, your foot has a better chance of landing either on the midline or slightly away from the midline, not across the midline. This is because when you land with the forefoot strike when running, the foot physically has less time to swing out all the way through and around the stance limb. So there's essentially less time for the foot to swing out all the way in front of the body and across the midline. So the foot either lands on the midline or slightly away from the midline, and therefore stance width increases. This can be beneficial because a wider stance width during running also permits a shorter overstride angle, because the foot swings out less in front of you, causing the foot to land closer to under the ankle, knee, and hips, which is the center of mass. And reduced overstride angle may dramatically cut down on the braking rate, whereby the smaller the overstride angle, the lesser the time that the body comes to a grinding halt with the ground. Out of this, reduced braking may prevent high compressive loads from being produced. In fact, a 2015 study in the American Journal of Sports Medicine found that heel strike runners who switched to forefoot strike running showed a 2% reduction in stride length, which was enough to cause a reduction in IT band strain. The IT band being a long piece of connective tissue that runs along the outside of your leg from the hip to the knee and shin bone. Last but not least, because forefoot strike running helps widen stance width, which in turn helps reduce overstriding, taken together naturally increases cadence, which has been found to have a large effect on reducing impact-related injury, especially if run cadence is between 170 and 200 steps per minute. One false assumption, though, is that the more steps that you take per minute when running means you are setting yourself up for injury, because the foot is over-engaging with the ground if you are taking 190 steps per minute versus 160 steps per minute. But this assumption has proven to be false, because what actually makes a higher run cadence so effective for injury prevention is that it dramatically reduces ground contact time duration, meaning the contact the foot has with the ground is so brief that certain impact force variables and abnormal postures and motions of the foot are not fully produced or exacerbated. It should be noted that in most cases, not all, but most, landing with the heel strike, especially landing really far back on the heel when running, may have the opposite effects of these three mechanical outputs, in that landing with this specific landing configuration facilitates leg swing activity to occur more in front of the center of mass. So the foot swings out farther in front of the body, and when this happens, the foot makes a longer travel ahead of the body, which may give it more of a chance to alter from its neutral line and cross over the midline. Also, because the foot overreaches in front of the body, creates a longer overstride angle, resulting in a longer break force period, causing the foot to spend more time braking the body at touchdown, which may result in more compressive loading, particularly on the shin and the knee. And so because of the longer overstride angle, which causes you to take longer steps instead of quicker, shorter steps like in forefoot strike running, a longer overstride angle usually correlates with a lower cadence, which usually correlates with longer ground contact time duration, whereby the longer the foot interacts with the ground, the more it may wrestle with the ground, which means the foot may be forced to pronate more or shift into abnormal positions, which may increase bending and twisting strain on the Achilles, on the shin, and the knee, as well as the hips. So overall, these are the many reasons that there's a stronger correlation between forefoot strike running and less opposing forces acting across the leg as compared with heel strike running. On that note, also in the description box, I posted a link to a video that I did showing what a proper forefoot strike landing looks like, because many make the mistake of landing really high up on the toes, when rather a proper forefoot strike landing is a much flatter foot placement that involves landing lower on the forefoot just ahead of the arch. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up button as well as the subscribe button if you haven't already, where you will stay more informed on forefoot strike running versus heel strike running. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have fun out there on the roads and trails. Bye for now.